Today we are going to talk about the different kinds of dog collars and and the different brands that we would or wouldn't use, including the different styles of dog collars that there are. We're going to start with Ruffwear. They're this flat collar, it's normal Ruffwear flat collar. This one's called flat top rope. And I like this one because it's got a nice metal clasp. Looks pretty sturdy, and it also has a nice little spot for your tags. Alright. This one we don't have. Quite a few of these we do. Alright. Next one will be the Prong dog collar. This one we do have. We have used it on our previous dog. Looks like pretty nice sturdy quality. I like it because it's got this nice metal clasp. Well, it's nice sturdy flat collar. The thing that I don't like about flat collars though is that dogs tend to slip out of them a lot. Scared puppy, he will, if they get spooked, they tend to back away, and if you have that leash nice and tense, then you're gonna end up having a dog running away, and not a huge fan of flat collars. We also have, this is our dog's very first puppy collar. It's one from a pet store. It's kind of cheap. It's plastic buckle. Don't like it. This is another pet store one. We had gotten it when we didn't even have her yet. It was $13 from pet store. Got a sturdier buckle than this one. It's a lot thicker. It doesn't even fit her, and she's almost full grown. That's 3 different ones. Alright. Next style is going to be the martingale style. This one is a mighty paw. We actually have one of these. Nice thing about martingale type collars is it was actually her first bought collar for her after we had her. After she was slipping out of that one too much when we were holding on to her. So, as you can see, this one, if your dog tries to back out, leash gets tense, more tense, more tense, more tense. This is good. These type of collars are good for dogs who have a smaller head than they do neck, because if you have that collar nice and snug, their head's smaller than their neck, it's not going to help very much. They can still slip out of it if they freak out. Some dogs just learn they can just slip out of it, and well, if they want something, they're going to back out of their collar and they're going to run get what they want to get. I like this one. It's leather. We didn't take care of it too well. We didn't really we didn't really know how to treat leather. So don't get a leather one unless you know how to treat leather. Alright, next up is our Dogline dog collar. This is her current collar, actually. It's nice biothane. We knew that they couldn't break this even if they wanted to. This one doesn't even have a closure. You loosen it. So like, say you were taking it off your dog, you loosen it, then you tighten it to their neck size, and then, well, it's martingale. It's got that, it tightens if they back up, try to back out of it. I like these. It's a better option if you don't know how to take care of leather. Just barely more expensive. So if you were going between these, I would go for this one. Next up, we got slip collars. We actually have a different kind of slip collar. We have the chain one that you see a lot. I don't particularly love these. They're very thin. You know, tightens and tightens and tightens, which still great option if your dog slips out of things. I just wouldn't particularly go for the chain ones. This one that I have up here is an inch thick. better than this, probably centimeter thick. And I will leave links to everything down in the description. Alright, next up, sister to the slip lead, we got, or sister to the slip collar, we got a slip lead. This one actually looks to be about 1 inch too. I like this one because it's got that limiter right there. So it's actually, this is what I would have in my bag if I were to go trying to catch a dog. If I were to need to. Another way that I would make one of these is, well, you take your classic Walmart leash, right? And take your leash clip, and you clip it on here, and boom, you got yourself a limited slip. It doesn't move very freely, but this is what I would use. Actually probably cheaper than this, but if you have a dog that's an escapee, I would go for a martingale or a slip. Those are the only two that I would use on my clients' dogs if I were to take them. If I were to take clients right now, because I don't know their dog. If the dog gets out, then it would be my fault, and I don't want to be at fault for that. Personally, I would not use flat collar on dogs that I'm training. I would use a martingale type collar or a slip lead. Next up, we have the prong collar. I do not suggest using a prong collar unless you are a professional or learning from a professional. We personally have one of these. And I would not, sometimes I don't even want to use this, because it is an aversive method, yes, and sometimes I don't even want to use it. Do not use it unless you're a professional or learning from a professional. And our last one is one that's very controversial. These past two were very controversial. Our last one is a e-collar. Some people call them shock collars, e-collars. We have one. Not a huge fan. I am not a huge fan of these. We tried them. I like to learn by using them. I felt all of the levels. The one that I don't think, level 1, I have used on myself. I've felt all of the levels on this specific one, and honestly, we just use this for the flashlight. Not a huge fan of these. I know the mini Educator has a lot more different modes, but not a huge fan of those either. They're way overpriced. This one was about $60. They're just way overpriced for what they are. Honestly, I would not recommend them. I'll still have a link down there, but I don't recommend you get them. Another thing, don't use it unless you are a professional or being trained by a professional, and even then, I don't even recommend them then. Alright, I think that's all for tonight. Have a good night. Bye.